going to have a look at sharpening this now, but there's a lot of pitting and dirty metal up around here, which I'm going to clean up with the grinder first. I imagine some people will take issue with that, but just don't. It's not going to hurt it. The edge isn't going to get anywhere near hot enough for that to be a problem. So I'm just going to clean it up with the grinder, just to make a better surface for filing. Files I use are these Draper Farmer's Own or garden files, they're called. They're actually pretty good. They're about £6.50, and they cut all the axes that I've got, not even the Gransfors ones. So yeah, definitely worth the money. This one's getting a little bit worn now, but it'll still cut most things. So I've just knocked off a lot of the rust and pitting, just so it doesn't gum up the file too bad when I'm trying to do that. The edge is barely even warm. It's actually impressively hard. Get a corner of the file involved. It's actually quite a bit harder than I was expecting. If I'm not getting a good bite with the file, then I like to sort of try and tip it up slightly onto one corner and just get the very corner of the file, dig in, and start making the cut so that it just starts you off and gets you some headway. Yeah, now it's going. I'm going to be here a while. Draw filing can be a pretty good technique for getting flat bevels, but also for a file that's not as sharp as it was. You can take some meat off with it, but also it's quite good by setting the same angle on both sides. Like I just put my finger underneath this and it's giving me what I think is roughly about the bevel I want it to be, and then just by doing this, not moving it back and forward, it sort of keeps the file flat and sets you a good sort of working angle that you can fine tune later. So what I've got now is two sort of draw filed bevels which don't meet at the edge. I don't want them to just yet. I just wanted to sort of get it set. Feels like it might be a little bit thick, but I'm going to try and, well, I am going to measure it and see what I've got. I'm aiming at about 20 degrees. I find that's a reasonable place to start for most things. You can sort of take it thinner or roll the edge over if it's not holding it, if it's not keeping sharp very well. So I'm gonna measure that and see what I've got. So what I do to measure the angles is I get a sliding bevel, I'll put it over, hold it up to the light, and just get it to match as good as I can. See like what's the closest fit for the bevels, just a sort of average over the length of it. So that's about where that is. And then I put it on my rafter square, roofing square. And that is just under 18 degrees. So it's probably going to need to thicken up a bit. So it's not a terrible place to start. It's about 18 degrees, just slightly less maybe. So I'm just going to file that until it gets close down to the edge. And probably leave it there until I've done the handle. I hope I'm wrong, but it looks like there's a crack forming on the bottom of that. I didn't really mean to take it down to that stage, but I started filing and then it got into a serious thing. So I've got a wire edge on it and I've rolled it all in and got out that nick which looked like a crack. Oh well, I could hang that and use that now. Yeah, for making a handle, I don't really know. I could make one, but the only wood I've got that's the right sort of size and dry is some oak. Yeah, which isn't too bad. It's quite bendy. It's also quite heavy for its size. Yeah, the original handle is a nice shape, but it's actually quite similar to Faithful handles. That's a 32-inch fawn foot that I had on an old head before, and it's actually a nice size and shape. But the only Faithful handle I've seen which has got the right size for the humongous eye on this axe is a 36-inch, and I don't really want to hang it on something that long. If I had enough shoulder I could lower it down. That's a faithful handle too. This head was on that other one before, but it was too long. It's a Spirit Jackson head, an old one with a high centerline, convex cheek. This handle's not so good as the other one. It gets really fat down here, but it's still pretty worthwhile. Well, from my experience of 2. I'll work it out.